Wolves once ruled the forests, plains and mountains across much of what is now the United States. But by the early 1900s, most wolves had been killed off in nearly every single state. Government-backed eradication programs labeled them dangerous predators that needed to be completely wiped from existence. Poison traps and rifles drove gray wolves to near extinction across the lower 48. Only tiny populations remained in remote regions of Minnesota and parts of Michigan's Upper Peninsula. For decades, silence replaced howls in places where wolves had shaped entire ecosystems for centuries. But the wolf story didn't end with silence. It became a powerful tale of slow recovery. With the Endangered Species Act in the 1970s, gray wolves began getting legal protection again. Reintroduction. Efforts started gaining support in places like Yellowstone National Park and central Idaho wilderness zones. These programs aimed to restore not just wolves, but ecological balance that disappeared with them. As wolves returned, their influence reshaped everything from elk herds to rivers and plant growth patterns. Scientists celebrated the results, calling it a major success in modern wildlife conservation history. But in many rural states, the wolf's return was seen as a threat, not a triumph. For ranchers, hunters, and local communities, wolves brought conflict, not conservation victories or natural beauty. In some states, public outcry against wolves has grown louder than the howls echoing through forests. Let's explore the states where wolves are back but far from welcomed with open arms. In Wyoming, wolves were delisted as endangered in most areas, making them legally hunted again. The state set up a controversial predator zone where wolves can be shot without permits year-round. Conservationists argue this undermines decades of protection, especially for Yellowstone wolves that wander beyond park borders. But ranchers insist the policy is necessary to protect livestock from unprovoked wolf predation losses. The tension has created fierce battles between wildlife advocates and agricultural landowners over wolf survival. Idaho has one of the most aggressive anti-wolf stances in the entire United States today. The state legalized wolf trapping, expanded hunting rights, and even approved state-funded population control measures. Officials claim wolves have exceeded recovery goals and now threaten big game species like elk. Opponents argue the aggressive policies are politically motivated and ecologically irresponsible for long-term balance. Despite the pushback, Idaho's wolf numbers remain stable, but the pressure continues to mount steadily. Montana also loosened wolf protections recently, allowing extended seasons and trapping on public and private land. Like Idaho, Montana claims too many wolves harm deer, elk, and livestock populations across open landscapes. But researchers say nature regulates itself if apex predators like wolves are given room to thrive. Montana's tourism economy benefits from wild wolves, yet policy often favors hunters over park visitors. This creates a complex web of interests where no side feels fully heard or satisfied. Wisconsin saw its wolf population recover significantly, then rapidly decline after hunting was reauthorized in recent years. In one shocking hunt, more wolves were killed in days than the state had allowed annually. Indigenous tribes, who view wolves as sacred, protested the hunts and demanded policy reforms immediately. Legal battles followed, with federal courts stepping in to reinstate protections for Wisconsin's gray wolves. The future here remains uncertain, hinging on court rulings, politics, and shifting public opinion. In Michigan, wolves are mostly confined to the Upper Peninsula, where they remain federally protected under law. However, many residents see them as pests or threats to local hunting and farming traditions. A recent attempt to remove protections sparked outrage from scientists and indigenous communities across the state. Public polling reveals Michigan is deeply divided. Some want wolves gone. Others fiercely defend their place. It's one of the most polarized wolf debates in the country, with no easy solution available. In Minnesota, the only state with a continuous wolf population since pre-colonial times, tensions still run high. Though wolves are seen by some as part of the northern wilderness identity, others feel differently. Farmers argue compensation programs don't fully account for livestock losses or stress caused by wolf presence. Urban voters often support protection, while rural residents push for lethal management tools to return. Minnesota remains a battleground for the question: can wolves and people truly coexist long-term? Oregon has seen a slow but steady return of wolves, especially in its eastern and southern counties. Though packs are small, local ranchers have already reported conflicts with livestock and game displacement. Oregon's wolf plan seeks balance by protecting both wildlife and agricultural interests through careful management practices. Still, illegal killings have occurred, highlighting persistent resentment and lack of community-wide education or engagement. As wolves spread westward, the pressure on state wildlife officials continues to grow every year. Washington has experienced similar trends, with wolves returning from Idaho and establishing packs across remote regions. Despite protections, conflicts with ranchers and rural residents mirror issues seen in Montana and Wyoming. Some counties have asked for increased funding to prevent livestock losses and promote coexistence education. The state's wolf plan includes non-lethal deterrence and compensation, but backlash remains strong in certain areas. Washington's wolves are expanding, but so is resistance from communities unprepared or unwilling to adapt quickly. Colorado is now at the center of a heated wolf controversy following a recent reintroduction vote. Voters narrowly approved bringing wolves back, and the state began releasing them into wild habitats. Opponents worry about livestock predation and feel their concerns were ignored by urban majorities. Supporters argue the wolves will restore ecological balance and boost tourism in remote mountain towns. As wolves establish territories, Colorado's success or failure could set precedent for other western states soon. In California, wolves have slowly made a comeback, migrating south from Oregon into northern mountain ranges. Though not yet widespread, the state has strong protections and has named individual wolves as symbols. Ranchers remain cautious, but haven't yet organized large-scale resistance like in other parts of the West. If wolves continue to spread, California could become the next battleground in the ongoing predator debate. For now, the state is watching closely, hoping to learn from mistakes made elsewhere. Wolves remain deeply symbolic animals in American culture, powerful, intelligent, and often misunderstood by the public. Their return sparks passion on all sides, with science, politics, and culture all clashing at once. For some, wolves represent freedom, wilderness, and ecological healing long overdue on a wounded landscape. For others, they symbolize government overreach, rural neglect, and threats to economic survival and safety. Until trust is rebuilt and shared solutions found, the howls will continue to divide rather than unite. Whether welcome or not, wolves are returning and forcing humans to rethink what wild really means. Can conservation succeed when people feel excluded from the process or punished for voicing concerns? Are we ready to coexist with predators that challenge how we farm, hunt, and manage land? Or will old fears and folklore keep driving policy decisions in places where facts are needed most? The wolves are back, and their future depends as much on us as it does on them.